Welcome back to Movies TV Mad. You can follow me on Twitter at Movies TV Mad. And welcome, my fellow beautiful Doctor Who fans. Today I want to compare Stephen Moffat's Master, played by the ever-talented, multi-talented Michelle Gomez, who played the Missy version of the Master. And I also want to compare her to Chris Chibnall's Master, played by the fabulous Sacha Dhawan. I have a lot of time for Sacha's version of the Master. So first of all, let's take a look at Missy. So Missy is the first female version of the Master. Now initially in season 8, she was a mystery box and she seemed to be governing some kind of afterlife. She seemed very intriguing, mysterious, and we didn't know at that time she was the Master. When we get to the finale, we find out her master plan with the Cybermen. It's a typical, brilliant, ingenious, evil plan by the Master, and she's really, really good. She's effective, she works, she's ruthless, she kills people. I like her, and she's very unique because she's Michelle Gomez. Then the problems with Missy begin, because it turns out her whole plan to create the Cybermen was to give the Doctor an army. That's her master plan. She did this out of love for the Doctor. So any Doctor Who fan worth their salt knows that the Master and the Doctor used to be friends on Gallifrey. And in Classic Who at the beginning, especially with the Delgado Master and John Pertwee, they were more rivals than enemies. So basically, Russell T Davies and Moffat and Chibnall are kind of obsessed and kind of see them as friends rather than enemies. So they were friends. There is a deep love for each other, but the Master, obviously sees the world and the universe differently to the Doctor, and this is what divides them. Both originally on Gallifrey wanting to explore the stars, but ultimately they became divided because the Master wanted to burn the stars and the Doctor wanted to see them and protect the stars, protect the universe as a whole. And so we go down this narrative, the narrative of, basically the Master evolving into a better person begins. We then see Missy at the beginning of season 9 with the whole Davros thing. For me, she was totally wasted, and she tries to kill Clara and puts her in the Dalek. And there's interesting scenes between Missy and Clara. I thought Jenna and Michelle Gomez were great together, but there doesn't seem much of a point for her to be there. So we don't see her in season 9 again, and then we see her in season 10. She becomes a mystery box yet again. Now, we don't know this, but she's the mystery figure locked in the vault. And we eventually find out it is Missy who's behind the vault. The whole point is the Doctor was supposed to execute her, but he doesn't. But he promises to keep her in the vault and guard her, which he doesn't do a really good job of. We then slowly find out he's trying to help Missy become a better person. So slowly we're seeing here that Moffat wants to try and create a situation where the Master is trying to become better. Now, the progressive mindset of Moffat here is pretty obvious. It's no coincidence to me that this is a female Master he's trying to fix, and if this was a male Master, he would never, ever, even in a month of Sundays, think about evolving them into a better person. Man bad, right? Well, I can prove this thesis by talking to you about, the return of the John Sim Master. John Sim is absolutely wasted in The Doctor Falls. He's kind of okay in World Enough and Time because he's wearing the prosthetic mask, if I can say the word properly, and he's with Pearl Mackie, aka Bill, and I think their interactions are absolutely brilliant, and that works for me. But the whole thing ultimately is a fucking waste of time. if you notice, he really tries to make the Sim Master as toxic as possible. As I say, man bad. Ultimately, Missy kills him because she wants to stand with the Doctor. Basically, the whole motivation here is to say, the Master is a woman now. And, so basically when we see her crying over all the people she's killed. So we're supposed to forgive the Master for everything bad that she's done, but when it comes to the John Sim Master, he's really bad. Because the Master's a man, so when the Master's a man, the Master has to be as bad as possible. But this one time the Master's a woman, she's going to evolve. This is the mindset, everyone, of the progressive, worldview, where women can do whatever they want, be forgiven for everything, right, that they ever do, bad things that they do, but men, especially straight white males, should never be forgiven. And I love Stephen Moffat as a creative and a writer. This is not a hate thing for Stephen Moffat, but he is very transparent in what he's trying to do. And there's a lot of ways you see it. And especially towards women and the way that he writes women. So ultimately, when we get to the end of, the journey of Missy, the Master in the Moffat era, it's a total waste of time as far as I'm concerned, and I feel very underwhelmed about the whole thing. Basically, apart from season 8, the Missy Master is an absolute waste of time. Michelle Gomez gives a terrific performance. Michelle Gomez is a great artist. I've got a lot of respect for her. And as a version of the Master, I love her. I really do. But ultimately, the narrative and the writing lets her down because the whole motivation here is for progressive storytelling. And basically, Moffat lets himself down because of this very reason, and the whole motivation of bringing the Sim Master back is to show how toxic the Master is as a male and how good, powerful and better a female Master is. That's it. It's that juvenile, it's that short-sighted, it's that petty. This is how these people think. So we leave that Master there, and now let's talk about the Chibnal Master, the Sacha Dhawan Master, a much better version of the Master. Sacha's Master, Chibnal's Master, may now be my favourite Master. I love them all. But this version of the Master is quite brilliant. But why? Because from the moment this guy reveals himself as the Master, there's something eating away at this guy. He has the knowledge that the Doctor's the timeless child, and it's eating away at her. For the first time, he hates the Doctor. It's not just a rivalry. It's not just about the Doctor meddling in the evil plans of the Master. He hates the Doctor. He has got a piece of the Doctor's DNA, and he hates the truth of the Time Lords and what the Time Lords did. It's why he burns Gallifrey to a crisp. So this guy has a proper logical narrative towards him. And it's shocking to me that there's such depth for Sacha's Master when Jodie's Doctor lacks the same depth, and it's a shame. Now, obviously, we could look at what Chris is doing here and kind of criticise it for the same progressive narrative as Moffat, but he hides it better. He's obviously trying to empower his female Doctor by having a very toxic, evil male Master. But it doesn't change the fact that it fucking works, and it's a lot more effective than Missy. And Dhawan's best performance as the Master comes in power of the Doctor. But what you see is in the end, and you don't really see this until this moment. Like, before this moment, you kind of think, I've never seen the Master have such vigorous hate for the Doctor before. But when they're about to reverse the false regeneration, he's basically curled into a ball and he's saying, please, I don't want to be me again. I don't want to be the Master. I want to stay like this. Basically, he'd rather be the Doctor than himself. But why? Because after all the hatred, He actually loves the Doctor. He looks up to the Doctor. He knows the Doctor's a hero. That's why he's done the Force regeneration in the first place. And it's quite wonderful. So if you're asking me what version of the Master I prefer, when we look at Missy and Dewan's Master, I'd have to say it's Sacha Dhawan's and Chris Chibnall's Master. You know, some Doctor Who fans would have you believe that the Chibnall era is totally bad and Chris didn't do anything good. That's not good. Sorry, let me say that again. That's not true. It's actually, you know, just because you don't like the fact that he cast a female Doctor, and I don't understand disliking someone because they did this, because there's nothing in I can't even get my words out properly today. There's nothing in Doctor Who lore saying that you can't have a female Doctor, just like you can't have a female Master. The motivations for that should always be right and should be for the narrative and give that female Doctor the right storytelling, which she kind of was and wasn't at the same time. She was very underwhelming because the characterizations weren't as deep as they were for Chibnall's Master. But ultimately, he did give her this curveball of the timeless child, and seeing her regress a little bit because of this and lose her confidence was very, very compelling. I like what he did with the Cybermen. As I say, I think what he did with the Master, I've never seen anyone do a better Master than what Chibnall did with Sacha Dhawan. And Sacha Dhawan revels as an artist and an actor to play this version of the Master. Should Sacha Dhawan return as the Master? Absolutely. I know these modern day showrunners like to start from fresh with their eras and go, you know, use the people they've already used or use new people. I don't agree here. I think there's so much more to tell. There's a bigger story to tell. There's more to say about Sacha Dhawan's Master. And I think it will be a great shame to replace him. Now, I do feel that RTD will replace him, which, I mean, I think is going to be really, really disappointing. And I'm sure whoever plays the Master, man, woman, or beast, they'll be freaking brilliant. And, you know, Russell may create an even better Master than Sacha Dhawan. I can't see how at this point, but every creative has their own ideas about the Doctor Who lore and the Doctor Who universe. But I certainly think that Sacha Dhawan, especially in the revival, has been the best, deepest take on the Master yet. This guy is utterly fucking evil and ruthless. And, you know, I suppose there's not really any kind of corner of this version of the Master where you say, oh, you know, there's a little bit of empathy there. You see it now and again. You don't really see it. This Master is full of hate and anger because the Doctor is the timeless child, and he really can't get past that. He's quite happy to kill this Doctor. He's quite happy. I mean, we've seen in the revival before, but maybe the Master wouldn't actually ever kill the Doctor, but this time, this Master is more than happy to risk the Doctor's life. He has tried to kill her, and obviously has failed, and yeah, I think he's a much cleverer version of the Master than the other two versions we've had in the revival as well. So I think it's quite excellent. So to dismiss the entire Chibnall era would be to dismiss Sacha Dhawan's Master, and I think that would be a huge mistake. Don't rob yourselves of it. Today I continue my Doctor Who revival rewatch with what's it called? Twice Upon a Time. Peter Capaldi's final episode, which I absolutely adore. What a great idea to bring back Hartnell's Doctor, but, you know, in the guise of another actor, of course, because they had no choice. Obviously, there's no Bill Hartnell anymore, but I think it was done absolute justice and a great final story for Peter. So I'm approaching the Chibnall-Whittaker era. It's been a maligned era. The ratings haven't been great. You know, there's this horrible toxic conversation from some people about it, and some people utterly love it. It's not my favourite era, and she's not my favourite Doctor, and he's certainly not one of my favourite Doctor Who showrunners of all time, but it would be very bad of me to dismiss everything Chris Chibnall did, because Although it was kind of mundane and underwhelming at times, things like his master were absolutely fantastic. This has been Movies TV Mad. I am Mick, your host with the most. Just ask your girlfriends and your wife. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you never miss this beautiful perfection. And I'll see you again in the next video. Until I see you again, goodbye, au revoir, auf Wiedersehen.